Hello, you're welcome. I am Miss Becca, a TRCN certified math educator with over 12 years of teaching experience. So, I would love to meet you. What's your name? Blessing. Oh, that's a lovely name. How are you doing today? That's great. That's great. So, in this demo class, we will be solving simple equations. And let me show you what simple equations look like. These are some examples of simple equations where we have x over 5 equals 2, x plus 5 equals 12, 2x plus 1 equals 7. So how do we solve this type of equations? And this class is for grade 6 learners. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to solve one-step equations, two-step equations, and then avoid common mistakes. When you know that there is a possibility for you to make a mistake, then it will be easy for you to avoid them. So I'll be showing you some common mistakes that you need to avoid. So what is an equation? An equation is a mathematical sentence that shows two things are equal. Look at this image now. You can see this one is showing, if you see this diagram, you realize that this left hand side is equal to this right hand side. And what do we have on the left hand side? We have x plus 3 equals 7. So this is an example of an equation. So whenever you find an equation like this, what we want to do in this video now is to find that number that we will add to 3 to give 7. So can you tell me what number can we add to 3 to give 7? That number will be our x. X plus 3 equals 7. So what number can we add to 3 to give 7? 4. Brilliant. Brilliant. That's so good. 4 plus 3 equals 7. So this equation has shown us that what we have on the left hand side is equal to what we have on the right hand side. So now let's solve one step equations. The rule of solving one-step equations is that you will do the opposite operation to isolate the variables. Now let's use our board. Let's go to the board. The first equation says x plus 5 equals 12. So we have x plus 5 equals 12. So when you have something like this, just like this rule says, you do the opposite operation to isolate the variable. What do you mean by the variable? The alphabet that you see in your equation is what we refer to as the variable because it is unknown. That is what we want to look for. So here we have x plus 5. What do we have with x? What do we have beside x? That is plus 5. What is the opposite of plus? That is minus. Correct. The opposite of plus is minus and the opposite of times is divide. So now that we have x plus 5, so we will now add the opposite of that to both sides. That is, we will have x plus 5. What is the opposite of plus 5? That will be minus 5. And then that will be equal to 12 minus 5. Whatever we add to the left hand side, we must add it to the right hand side. So that's here now, plus 5 minus 5, that would give what? 1. That will give 0. So that means x plus 0, and that's the same thing as saying x equals 12 minus 5. That is 7. So this is how to solve a one-step equation. Don't forget we call it one step. That means you are only performing one task in that equation. So now let's look at the second equation. It says x minus 4 equals 5. So tell me, how do we solve x minus 4 equals 9? What are we going to do to both sides? We will add 4 to both sides. Mind you, we have negative 4 here. So when you are adding, you are going to add plus 4. So that we have x minus 4 plus 4 equals 9 plus 4. And x will be equal to, what is 9 plus 4? 13. Correct. 9 plus 4 is 13. So the next one says 2x equals 14. So 2x, don't forget we do not have plus or minus here. This one says 2x equals 14. If 2x is equal to 14, you know that the relationship between 2 and x now is times, because 2 times x is what we write as 2x. So if and don't forget we said we will perform the opposite operation on both sides. So since we have 2x here, that is 2 times x. So what is the opposite operation of um times? That's divide, correct. So we divide both sides by what the coefficient of x, that is the number that is beside x. That will be divide both sides by 2. So that 2 will cancel 2 here, and 2 will go here 1, 2 will go here 7 times. So that here now we have x equals 7. So that is how to solve simple step and one step equations. Now for the second one, now we have, for the last one rather, we have x divided by 4 equals 3. If x divided by 4 equals to 3, what is the opposite operation for divide? That's multiply, correct. So you just multiply both sides by 4 so that x will be equal to 3 times 4, and that will give 12. Now let's solve two-step equations. To solve two-step equations, the first thing you have to do is what we did in the one-step equation. We first undo addition or subtraction by either adding or subtracting to both sides. Then the second step will now be to undo multiplication or division. We did both well during in our former example. So now let's solve 2x plus 3 equals 1. What two steps equation mean is that we are going to perform an operation on it 2 times. You realize that in the first one that we did, 2x plus 3 equals 11. Okay, you realize that the first one we did, we only performed one operation on it. We did it once, and and that was all. So now we have to we have plus 3 here. So that means we have to subtract 3 from both sides so that we have 2x to be equal to 11 minus 3. So we have 2x to be equal to what? 11 minus 3. 8, correct. So that is the first step. That is why we call it two-step equations. We have done the first step. Now it remains the second step. What do we do now to get x? We divide both sides by 2 like we did the other time, correct. So we divide so that we have x equals 4. You realize that this is a two-step equation. This is the first step, we subtract, and then the second step we divide. That is why it is called two-step equation. That's why it's called a two-step equation. So now that we can solve a two-step equation, let's talk about the common mistakes to avoid while solving either a one-step equation or a two-step equation. The first mistake that you need to be careful, you have to be aware of, is that whatever you do to the left hand side must be done to the right hand side. Just like we did here, you realize that when we solve this one, we subtract 5 from the left hand side, we also subtracted 1 from the right hand side. So that's why we subtracted -5 here, we also subtracted -5 here. Whatever you do to the left hand side must be done to the right hand side, must perform the same operation on both sides. So forgetting to do the same thing to both sides, it's a mistake that should be avoided. Another thing is mixing up the operation order. So also when you are solving an equation, mind you, we are subtracting because we have plus here. You have to subtract. Don't go and add 5. If you add 5, if you say x plus 5 plus 5 equals 12 plus 5, then you'll be making a big mistake because x plus 5 will give us x plus 10. So you'll be complicating the equation. So when you are solving, make sure you don't mix up the operation order. And still on operation order, look at this last equation this two-step equation we solved. Realize that the first thing we did was to subtract from both sides before we now divide. If we had divided first, it would have become complicated. Assuming we said 2x plus 3 equals to 11. Assuming the first thing we did was to divide by 2, it would have become complicated, and you just complicate the whole equation. So you don't mix up the operation order. Then the last one is solving too fast without checking. When you are solving, you don't have to be too slow, but at the same time you don't have to be too fast such that you will make mistakes and you will not know early enough. If you are too fast and you finish solving before you find out that you've made a mistake, then you'll have to solve again. So that is going to take a whole lot of extra time. So the best thing is to be slow and steady while solving. Don't solve too fast, and make sure you check your calculation as you solve. Now, practice time. I want you to solve these four questions: the first one, the second, the third, and the fourth question. And the key takeaways from this lesson is that you use inverse operations. When if the equation has plus, the inverse of plus, that is the opposite of plus, is minus. So you use minus to get the variable. When it is multiplication, you use division. Then you do the same thing to both sides, and then you take it one step at a time. One step at a time will make math easy for you. So thank you so much for your time and your cooperation. Once again, I am Miss Becca, the virtual math tutor.